Hey guys, it's JR with Toyota Gallatin. I just want to dive a little bit into detail as some of the differences between a VB, a 2023 WRX, and the four-cylinder Supra. A lot of people think that they have a lot in common because they are two four-cylinder engines. However, they probably couldn't be any further apart to each other. A better comparison for the WRX, I would say, would probably be the GR Corolla, and being an all-wheel drive car, being, within the same power figures of each other and, kind of drivability of each other comparatively to the Supra. The Supra is a rear-wheel drive car. It's kind of got some German engineering behind it, and it's a coupe. It's not the the four-door sedan or four-door hatchback like the WRX and the GR Corolla. But I'm going to dive a little bit into detail between both of the vehicles as to what are some of the things behind it. Now, I do got both cars here, and I think they're both phenomenal. And the one thing that's really unique is that the gray WRX that you see here is actually my Sub WRX that I had traded in just recently here at the dealership. I will say I have been thoroughly impressed with the four-cylinder Supra. A lot of people dog on it. People don't really like it. It's not really a Supra. It's a four-cylinder, all these other things. You could get a GR86, you can do this, certainly. But the cars are completely different. Even comparing the Supra to a GR86, I don't really feel like it's a fair advantage in being able to do. Yes, they're both coupes and they're both rear-wheel drive cars, but again, they're still pretty far apart for being able to have, a comparison of the vehicles. But diving into it, what are some of the differences between the Supra and the WRX? Well, the Supra, as I've mentioned many times, is it's a lot more refined, a lot more sophisticated. You get parking sensors all throughout the vehicle. You get a much better experience inside the car comparatively to the WRX. Inside you get a JBL sound system. You get these manual adjustable, but with lumbar support, bucket seats that are leather with a suede inside. Get a leather wrapped steering wheel, automatic headlights, automatic bright lights. But inside as well, you do get a digital screen, which I think is pretty great. You do get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto up here. You get dual climate. You can get them spec'd with heated seats, stuff like that, but this one's still pretty decently spec'd. Automatic dimming rear view mirror. But overall, I just feel like the view comparatively into the Supra, for the visibility is not nearly the same as it is on the WRX. You are getting minimal visibility as it is a coupe. It is only a two-door car and it is a two-seater car. You don't have any seats in the rear. But in the back here, you do get some trunk space. It is pretty decent. Show you here. I've got some of my stuff into it right now as I am walking around doing everything, but you do get some speakers in the back. Tons of space into here as well, pretty decently for a cube size car. Again, here's my jacket, but those are your subs there being able to have, and then you get a privacy shade here being able to have. And it is a hatchback to an extent, but really, really well designed. Now, some of the things that I've really, really loved about the Supra. The four-cylinder Supra, in my opinion, I feel handles a lot better comparatively to the six-cylinder. It handles the power, it handles, the drivability of it significantly better than the six-cylinder. The six-cylinder feels very squirrely. It's a lot of power for that car. It's a rear-wheel drive car, so it's really light back there too, so throwing all the power back there, it's squirrely, it's skittish. And, those are fun cars, don't get me wrong. Those are fun cars to drive, but when you're trying to, just have a regular daily driver, being able to do, you're not really pushing things as hard and doing things. The four-cylinder Supra does a really great job, and it handles everything that you kind of throw at it without it feeling like it's trying to kill you while you're driving it and being able to do. With that, I found that the four-cylinder Supra is a well more balanced car comparatively to the six-cylinder Supra. Now, the six-cylinder Supra is phenomenal. It's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of tunability. It's got a lot of great things about it. I am not saying the six-cylinder Supra is a bad car. I'm saying that the four-cylinder Supra is a good car. And so both have their, benefits and their, expertise of things, and being able to have, they're two completely different cars between the six-cylinder and the four-cylinder. The drivability is completely different between the two, but both are very fun and both are very customizable and both have a lot of things for it. But again, I don't think that the four-cylinder Supra is a fair comparison to the WRX. I'll make another video going into differences between the WRX and the GR Corolla, because those are a lot of fun cars, and I really do like the GR Corolla, as you can see from some of my TikToks, and as I dive into it a little bit more onto YouTube as well. Now, underneath the hood of the four-cylinder Supra is the BMW engine for it. I believe it's the B48, correct me if I'm wrong, but here it is. it's got clean, sophisticated, you know, engine bay, not much space to it. And tons of space for you to be able to, you know, work and do stuff with it, be able to put a bigger engine into it. But again, really clean, really well made. This is just a regular inline four to my understanding. I don't really know much more else besides it. It is turbocharged and it delivers its power very, very well. With the turbocharged, I don't really feel like there's any lag on the Supra. I feel that it just delivers power, it goes, it's well balanced, it's really well mounted. It's just phenomenal. I really love the way that the Supra drives. I can't have any complaints. I don't have anything negative to say about the Supra. Now, granted, I've only gone on a few test drives with it. I've only driven around a little bit. I haven't lived with it on a day-to-day basis. And maybe when I get one and I live with it, you know, I may have some more things to say about it. But from what I have experienced so far, the Supra is phenomenal. I really don't have any complaints whatsoever. All right, so one of the great things about the Supra and what I think is really, really cool is that even on a stock tune, it can be able to have some pops to it. As you may have seen from my TikTok page, but as you'll also see from here. Now, exhaust-wise, I think that the 2-liter 4-cylinder Supra is pretty cool that it pops and that it can be able to go on its own. This is what the WRX sounds like and being able to do. I'm going to give it some baby revs real quick. I'm going to put the microphone back up. I will say the sound of the Boxster motor is a lot beefier. It's got that nice little rumble to it. Even though it doesn't have the unequal headers that they used to have previously before, which made that iconic Subaru rumble. This does have a unique sound of its own, and I still like it. I still love it. Not nearly as unique as it used to be, but still a pretty decent thing. Doesn't pop like the Supra does, which that's where I'll give the points to the Supra, is that it is pretty cool. The other thing about the Supra is that it does have different drive modes, which does also affect the exhaust as well. So pretty interesting. Subaru doesn't have, kind of lacking, but it is what it is. I'm gonna put this up, put this here, give it a couple. So comparatively of the two, I think the Supra sounds cooler because it pops, but deeper rumbles from the WRX. Pretty cool. Grew up on the WRX platform, and the WRX, the STI, is probably one of the cars that got me into cars and that I really, really love. I've had 3 of them so far. I've had a 2015 WRX, I had a 2020 WRX STI, and I've had this 23 WRX. So I'm very well-rounded with the WRX platform and the growth of it and where it's at now. And my dad had a Supra growing up. I've driven these Supras a few times. I really love them. I hope to own one day and being able to do. Some of the differences between them: the Supra is well more sophisticated and refined comparatively to the WRX. The WRX is a rally car. It's supposed to be, you know, beaten. It's supposed to be used and abused. It's supposed to have a lot of fun. And being able to, both cars are tuner cars, both cars are JDM cars. A lot of fun that they both offer, but 2 different types of fun. The WRX is more of a raw, fun sports car comparatively to the Supra. Supra is really well refined, really well sophisticated, really well planted as well. I will say both cars are planted, they are really well grounded, but there's just a difference between them that just as you drive them, they really, really stand out. Now this is a 2023 WRX Premium. I didn't really go for a full loaded one, but this one is still pretty decently equipped. Now the one thing that I will say that I did have a complaint about with the WRX that I didn't really care for and I didn't really like, and the reason why I specifically chose this color is because it didn't really show as much, is the body molding that's on the outside of the car. As you can see, it looks like Subaru's going this wilderness edition stuff on like all of their cars. So you got this plastic trim that's all throughout the car that I personally don't really care for, nor do I like. But with this color here, with it being the magnetic gray, it kind of blends in pretty well that you don't really notice it as much. I've seen a lot of people paint match these and being able to do. But on this premium one, there's not much to it besides interior. You know, you do get a pretty decently large screen. You get the Harman Kardon sound system, a leather wrapped steering wheel, automatic headlights, automatic bright lights. You get the original, you know, analog sticks being able to do. You need to get wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, auto dimming rearview mirror, as well as a sunroof that does go back for you. Now inside, you do got these cloth bucket seats that, you know, is manual adjustable, being able to have. The seats are okay, comfortability wise. It's not phenomenal. It's not anything to rave about or anything with it. But overall, you know, still pretty good. Interior wise, you do get plenty of space. In the trunk space here, you do get plenty of space as well, being able to fit stuff, being able to move, do storage. And then in the back, you do get a usable second row seating here, being able to have. And it is fairly comfortable in the back here as well. Now, this doesn't have any parking sensors throughout the vehicle. It doesn't have really much of anything besides the Harman Kardon sound system. You know, it's got some niceties of, you know, the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto being able to use. And it's got a 6-speed manual. Very fun to drive, in my opinion. It does feel a little bit sluggish. I wish they made it with a little bit more power comparatively. I had an STI before, love that car, absolutely phenomenal. And I think that one handled really well. But some of the problems that I had with the previous generation Subarus comparatively to the new ones now is that the shifting was really stiff, was really hard. And the steering, I think they did a really good job both ends for it. But on the new ones, on the new VBs, the steering is a lot lighter comparatively to what they used to be. Suspension is not as rough and not as hard on these new ones as well, comparatively to previous generations. And yeah, overall, very fun still and enjoyable to drive, but still lacking some things for it. I think if they would have done an STI lineup, that would have been great for the car. I think if they would have done the body molding properly, that would have been good as well. I wish the car had a little bit more power out of it and being able to have and those are kind of some of my biggest complaints really about the car. And the other thing, until recently, there wasn't really a big brake package for the vehicle. And so now there is. You can now get the Brembo brakes with the TS package and being able to have. And so I think that is a really great feature. I really love the Brembo brakes on the 2020 STI. And so being able to now add that to the WRX platform is a really great feature. Again, the WRX is more of a raw driver's car, meant for rallying. The all-wheel drive is great. It is a really, really fun system. It handles really, really well. And I really don't have any other complaints about the car. It's just lacking some of the things comparatively to the Supra. You get the 2.4 liter Boxster motor that Subaru made themselves, and I think they did a pretty decently job with it as well. I wish it had a little bit more power, less turbo lag for it, but overall pretty decently made. I've heard a lot of things within the tuning community and what I've read online that this engine is significantly more reliable being able to tune and get more power out of. I've never tried it. I don't know too much about it, but comparatively to the EJ motors that the WRX used to have, you know, they supposedly are a lot better getting more power out of it and being able to do. And so a lot more fun for the tuner world and being able to build and being able to get parts out from my understanding of what I've heard so far. Now, what does that look like? I don't know. I've heard a lot of different ranges and figures and being able to do. I've heard some people do full bolt-ons and being able to get 450, 500 horsepower. I've heard some people get around 700, 800 horsepower. So there's a lot of, you know, variable information that's out there in regards to the new WRX platform. And I'm excited to see where it continues to go as the, you know, sales have been declining, but they still continue to bring out new stuff and they try new things. It's been interesting to experience, to say the least. But the 2.4, you know, stock power, how it delivers, doing everything, it's not a huge increase from what it used to be, and I don't really feel that it really improves it. I feel that it's slower comparatively to the previous WRXs and the WRX STI, which of course the WRX STI is a 2.5 liter, you know, 315 horsepower vehicle. It's a little bit different than this 270 horsepower that they're getting out of the 2.4 and being able to do. I was expecting bigger things for the WRX, and it kind of disappointed me that it didn't, you know, live up to those expectations. And that may be one of the problems within myself, is that I had too high of expectation for the vehicle and it didn't really live up to it. Again, this one's paired with a 6-speed manual. They did a great job with it. I think that is very smooth and it handles very well. And the interior is not bad. It's got, you know, it's comfortable doing things, but it's missing that sophistication, you know, that you get within the Supra as well. So Again, if there's any other questions that you may have about either of these vehicles, between the symmetrical all-wheel drive versus the rear-wheel drive, the 2.4 versus the 2.0, or really anything that you may have a question on, feel free to ask. I'd love to be able to answer those questions. This is what I'm trying to invest more time into doing, is being able to make more videos on, you know, the cars like these, the WRX, the Supra, the GR Corolla, all the fun things that Toyota makes, as well as some of the other things, you know, going over some differences between a TRD Sport versus TRD Off-Road. What makes the TRD Pro on, you know, the TRD Pros, being able to dive into some of those details. Check out some of my videos. I do love talking about cars, and I can sit and talk about them all day long. Now, am I an expert? Absolutely not. A lot of things is just my opinion based off my experience of being able to drive these vehicles and being able to have a good time with them. But these are great cars. I absolutely love both of them. I have no complaints against either of them. Let's see here. I don't have any complaints against either of them. I really do love them both. They both have a special place into my heart, with the WRX being a car that I grew up on, that I really love driving, and the Supra just being, you know, a family car that my family had as I was growing up and being able to do, and just really cool, iconic car altogether. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And just so you're aware, most of the cars that I show on this channel are available for sale. So if you or anybody else that you're is looking for, you know, a great deal on a VB WRX or a great deal on a 4-cylinder Supra, feel free to send them my way. I'd love to be able to help them and be able to show them these cars, get them on a test drive onto it, and see if I can be able to put them together, make car buying experience easy. Car buying should not be a difficult process, should not be hard. It's been really ostracized throughout, you know, the world and throughout the market altogether, but I'm here to make things easy for you guys. So again, come buy your next car from JR, and look forward to seeing you guys next week.